Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the movie The Beekeeper, directed by David Ayer, who has directed such great action films as Suicide Squad, Sabotage, End of Watch.
And also, he directed Fury, the movie. I
Uh-huh.
think that came out a few years ago, or maybe it might have been a while. But yeah, those are,
Yeah.
he's an action guy, that director there.
Yep. Absolutely.
Eddie, I think you know something about that. I hear you're an action guy as well. Like you like the action movies from
Ooh, I do. Most definitely. Yeah. And
same.
action this
Yeah,
film has. So yeah, definitely.
yeah. There is quite a bit here, so it's a good film. Also, the Beekeeper is starring Jason Statham as the character Adam Clay, and it has Josh Hutcherson playing Derek Danfork as the main villain,
Will you stomp his ass out?
And he was in the
protagonist, and
Hunger Games. The Hunger
right. So yeah,
Games
he's from the
movie.
Hunger Games. Like I think it was the first one back in 2012. So those are the protagonist
Hmm.
and the antagonist there, or the good guy and the
Yeah.
bad guy.
Yeah.
So I like the movie. How about you, Eddie? What'd you think?
I did like the movie. It had specifically because it had a good story, okay? Because a lot of action movies are just like kicking, punching, chases, and that, and then kind of the story gets kind of lost and all of that. But this one
Right.
started like showing the people and showing a connection.
Yeah, it
The
was like everything was all
neighbor,
connected.
yeah,
Yeah.
the neighbor that was taking care of him, and that's why he had a really strong connection to her, to the lady, right? And it showed that connection from the beginning, meaning these people are human, they're real and whatnot, and so it established a really good connection from the beginning. I liked the story. How about you?
I agree. I mean, definitely with what you're saying, how some action movies they look really cool, and you're like, okay, what's this movie about? Like, is it captivating that emotional, need or the part of the brain that like that get like because like a drama or some other movies where there's more talking, more story based, it's you're
Hmm.
gonna get you want to like if it's a TV show, you're gonna want to watch the next episode, or if it's a movie, you're like, what's gonna happen next? This story's so good, like. But action movies, they
Yeah.
don't usually have the need for that since everything is, action and, this is going on, that's going on, looks cool, wow, explosions and
Hmm.
all this.
Hmm.
So yeah, the story was good. One thing about the neighbor you had mentioned for the character there, Adam Clay, who played by Jason Statham, is that, he's like this action guy in most of the movies. And for him to
Hmm.
actually say in this movie, like, this one's no exception to that. It's like kind of like John Wick on steroids, it reminds me of. So he he actually says like to the I think he even says to her to the neighbor before she dies that she's like the first person to ever take care of him. He's like this military guy, he's a
Yeah, that
beekeeper,
was
like
important. Yeah, yeah,
right, and he says it later on to like her daughter, the neighbor's daughter, who's like the agent and
hmm. Hmm.
who ironically like something I think is kind of I don't know if it's funny, but it may be ironic about the movie is that so the beekeeper all he does is keep bees and yet he's like always one step ahead of all these agencies like the CIA, the FBI, like like they're always meeting him at the location right as he's leaving, like he shows up, he like wrecks shop on, on everyone
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
thrashes
Well,
everyone,
because he was one of these like super agents, by I guess it was the CIA, something like
yeah, he
Jason Bourne type of thing. He was like a Jason Bourne, more or less. Obviously, it's a different story,
like
but
an
it's
unlisted agent, yeah, like a
correct,
super special
unlisted
agent,
agent that
yeah.
takes care of some business in particular that the normal, I don't know, law enforcement agency like the
Do you remember
FBI
the
just not
name of the
do.
group, the agent, or like that subdivision of the agency that he's part of? I think
No,
it's
he was
called
just the beekeepers. They were
right.
called the
Yeah,
beekeepers.
the role.
Beekeepers.
Yeah, they keep referring to
Yeah,
as
they
a
were the beekeepers.
beekeeper,
They
and
were
then
called the beekeepers. Yeah.
ironically, that's what he's doing, making honey. He's a honey beekeeper.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. So anyway,
it,
as you were mentioning, it did establish that good relationship between the characters and a motive for him of doing what he did. So speaking of action, obviously it has a lot of good action throughout the whole movie. It was well filmed. The choreographies were really good. I've read that Jason uh, did a lot of his own stunts and whatever. I mean,
Oh
he's
wow.
good at it at this point. You know what I mean? So yeah, it
Hmm.
was really good action throughout. It was filmed well and good choreography. So I liked all of that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely looked really cool. I didn't know that he actually did most of those stunts. I mean, it was very smooth, like a heavy amount of action, and the flow of everything was it. It didn't look out of place, or even though it was he, never got really touched or anything throughout. And these are like super special agents, but he's like super, he's much more well trained, so or he just knows what they're gonna do before they do it, I guess. So yeah. It was really entertaining. I mean, I just want to say it's entertainment, so it's not
Yeah,
real. It's
yeah,
on the
yeah,
screen. My take,
yeah.
like the irony I found in the movie that I kept like thinking of when I was watching the movie is that so he's a beekeeper and there's a queen bee, and then
Hmm.
the agent reads a book about bees and is like, there's bees that their role is to like take out the queen, like they're called queen killers
Yeah,
if the honey's not sweet or something. So that's essentially like what he's doing. He's like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then the queen's response is probably, the president in this instance, or whoever
Y-
is funding all
Yeah,
these organizations. They're probably like, well, someone had to train the new hires. Like the queen's like, I tried my best, like, why are you gonna take me out? But yeah, he's like
yeah, yeah,
protecting,
yeah,
like a bee would protect the hive, like the queen bee or whatever. So he's more like a bee killer, but he's protecting like his homeland where he lives, like the country,
yeah.
that he lives in.
No, and it's interesting that they put a female president
Hmm.
to fit that role. I guess going from that premise that
Well, they didn't tell
sometimes
anyone until like the
the
middle of the movie. I mean, you know what I mean? Like that, which made it a good story, a better, it improved the story.
yes,
Yeah.
because okay, so I think what they were trying to do is what's called like um, getting the stakes higher, higher stakes, right?
Like character development or building up the plot kind of
No, no,
thing.
no, no, no. Not character development because the character had been developing throughout, but just higher stake, meaning more complicated his mission. The one downer that I have, it's that it was just like too much because we're talking about the president of the United States, you know what I mean? And the whole story of, by
Uh-huh.
the way, we always have to put this disclaimer that we have um we're going to be mention some details about the film. So if you haven't seen it, go ahead and see it because it's really good. But anyway,
I recommend
in
it.
the
Yeah, it is good film. Yeah.
yeah, 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 for sure, for sure. So in that effort of making the stakes higher, you're talking about the president of the United States. And okay, it's like it was her son who was involved in this change of hackers, right? Of scammers, hackers, scammers
Illegal
type of
stuff.
thing.
Yeah, like
Yeah, a
stealing
lot.
from the
It
elderly.
was it
Yeah.
was her son, but still, it's like he goes to to the White House, I think it was where they were staying, and he gets to her, and that part is like, no, it's like one person cannot ever do that. I mean,
Like
think
he
about it.
infiltrates, yeah, like this the most
He
protected
infiltrated,
person in the
yeah,
country. I get what you're saying.
exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
and they left the president by herself with her son in a room. The Secret Service never, ever, ever does that. So that was the only downer for me because it got just like too much. It's like, no, 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 no. Like one guy cannot possibly, do this. So
Well,
anyway, what are your thoughts on that?
yeah. So I mean, I get what you're saying. Like if you look at it from that way, however, it isn't. I just wanted to say like it's kind of important. Like it is a movie that's on the big screen. It's made for the big screen. So if you want to, like, if you're wanting to see something more realistic and also entertaining, then that's more so on like streaming these days. It's 2024,
Hmm.
so it's like things are on the big screen because for the reason that they are somewhat, like I don't know if magical
A
is the
little
right
bit
word,
off the
but
wall.
unrealistic, over the top, or like
Over the top. Yeah,
they
yeah,
look
yeah.
really cool, like
That was the
however,
only thing. Yeah,
well,
that's a good term. A little bit over the top, I would say. Uh,
yeah,
just on
wait,
that
wait,
third act, because up to there, everything was flowing. First and second acts,
that's what I was
they
gonna say.
were
Yeah, like it.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
like what you said before is that everything is on the line and it continues to get even more on the line. So it's like,
Hmm, hmm,
if you pay attention to, if you look at it from a movie standpoint, from an audience entertainment standpoint, then
hmm.
it's like it keeps building up, and it keeps like there's more in the line, more in the line, more in the line. If you
Yeah, yeah,
separate
yeah,
that from the actual reality that maybe this can't happen, maybe this can't happen, if you just look at it
yeah.
from like the movie itself kind of thing, like what it's showing you in the beginning, and then how you think it's going one way, and then it just, oh no, this happens, and now there's like everything on the line. He like carries the weight of his shoulders on, the weight of the world on his shoulders like throughout the movie, and you think he's got the
Hmm.
whole weight on his shoulders in the middle, and then like Eddie said, the third act it like picks up, and he's got like almost like the
Yeah,
universal
like,
the weight of the
correct,
universe
correct.
on his
Yeah.
shoulders, like the whole world, not just the country toward
No,
the end, it seems like.
and it's interesting because her son was like really corrupt. I mean, again, he was a hacker. He was like scamming old ladies of their pensions and whatnot. He did drugs, and things
Well,
like that.
yeah, I
It
mean,
was like,
no, I
just a
think
just a bad guy. You know what I mean? So
she looks at yeah, I know what you mean. And she like slaps him on the hand. I think she literally like did that in the movie. She like slapped, like she's like, don't do
yeah, it's
that.
like.
Like it was for something. But yeah, it's like I guess from her standpoint, she has like a country to run, so she's not gonna
Mhm.
micromanage her son. And that the ironically the reason why she was where she's at now is because of the funding from her son's illegal activity. So it's like she's kind of
Yeah.
there because of all that. So she has like
Hmm, hmm,
she's kind of not she's there, but maybe she's not supposed to be there. If,
hmm, hmm.
maybe she still would have been elected, maybe not. But yeah, it's, oh, the fact that the company is like stealing from the elderly, and they say in the movie,
Yeah.
it's like stealing from a kid. It's actually even worse because a kid has parents to look out for him. The elderly, they sometimes, don't have as many individuals who
Hmm,
they can go
hmm,
to for assistance, or to, that can help them out and look out for them. It's kind of like they're at that end stage of the life. So, and you're preying on them. It's like, it's
hmm.
worse than preying on someone who's injured, or, who's already, on the ground
And
kind of thing.
and that part is interesting because the truth of the matter is that there's so many scammers in these days, man.
Hmm.
That I wish there were some real beekeepers who went after them because they're really annoying, and it's a problem.
Yeah, I
It
mean
is a
that
problem
from
with
that
scammers.
standpoint, it does have, so see, Eddie, it does have some realistic
For
factors in the
sure.
movie.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No,
So it's not
again,
so realist, not so
oh,
unrealistic, is it?
no, 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 no. From the again, first act, second act, beginning, middle, it was really well laid out. It just got quite a bit over the top on the last, um, towards the end there, But
Uh,
anyway, it was a pretty good movie. So
yeah.
anyway, Anthony, you have any final thoughts or anything?
Yeah, just one final thing, and then we can get to the reviews. It's a quick one here, something quick.
Hmm.
So something that like kind of was funny, like I think it was the third or fourth time this happened when the character, Adam Clay, played by Jason Statham, he shows up, and someone's trying to stop him, like the security or the guards, like, you're not getting in here, and he's like, watch me, or like, he's like, one, two,
Hmm.
three, I counted for you. He's like, I'm gonna get in that building either way. Like, he tells them, whoever confronts him when he gets there, like, he's like, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna do this, and then he does it. So by the third or fourth time,
Hmm.
I'm like, like, I think it was when he was at the SWAT team at the main hacking facility where they get all the like multi-millions, like, I think he says like tens of millions of dollars that one facility runs. So the SWAT team
Hmm.
is there first, and then Adam Clay shows up, and he's like, they talk like, like, they're just having a conversation, even though the conversation is about him entering the building and killing everyone, essentially, or killing the bad guys. And the SWAT team's like,
Hmm.
"Stand down, sir. This is your final warning." And he's like, "Look, I already told you I'm going in there, so it's like, I don't know why we're still standing here." Like, that's like the fourth time that happens. He's like, it kind of reminds me of like when the character, or when Keanu Reeves. I think I saw a meme. I don't know if you posted it on social or something, but it was like if hey, he's like, I'm at the point in my life when if someone tells me like 2 + 2 = 5, I'm just like, okay, have fun. So
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
the face
remember
of
that.
Jason Statham when the SWAT team is like, stand down. This is again like they, he's like, this is your final warning. Jason Statham's like, come on, man. Like I already told you, like what's gonna happen. Like really, like okay, have fun. Like if you that's
he
how you
he
want to
had
do things,
he
I'm
had a
going in
lot of
there.
assurance. He was secure of
Very
himself.
confident. Yeah, like
Yeah, yeah,
super
yeah,
confident. Like yeah, it was
yeah.
like look.
It's like
Uh,
similar to the equalizer. Now that I think of it, that he's really secure about himself, and then the equalizer, he times it. You got 30 seconds, bro. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah, it was like
So,
that same
yeah.
type of. It's almost like if it was a thriller movie, it would be like a horror movie. It would be like Mike Myers, like The Walk, like kind of thing.
Hmm,
Like
hmm.
it's like, the slow, steady, walk. I'm gonna get you. Like I don't have to run, or it's like the confident walk, like the I'm
Hmm,
gonna
hmm.
get you. Like they're like on a mission, or the Mr. Anderson walk, in the Matrix movie. It's like very
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
confident, like this is gonna happen. Like it's assertive,
Hmm,
confident
hmm. Very
walk
good
there.
point. Very good point.
Yeah. Also, I mean, I just want to mention, I know like you're not the first person to say that these like movies nowadays, like recently, have been over the top and it's unrealistic.
Hmm,
I mean, it could all like if someone makes a painting, they don't necessarily know why they're making it or what it's necessarily portraying.
hmm.
So the same thing with a movie. It could be someone's thoughts that they put on the screen. So, it doesn't necessarily have to be shown in the movie as a montage to just be what maybe could happen instead of actually, maybe the movie's trying to portray what might happen, the potential of something happening versus even though it's showing it as like current day, real life, like, it's trying to portray something real.
Hmm.
Sometimes the movies, like especially the horror movies, it could just be someone's thoughts and then like there's all this nonsense going on or like the action. Maybe it's like what he wants to do instead of what he's actually doing.
Yeah.
He could just be
And,
thinking about doing that and not actually doing it. If it was,
and no, I mean, in all fairness, back in the day, um, Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger movies had
uh-huh.
some over the top, moments as well. But it's just that. It's just that
Yeah, I mean, maybe
it
not
felt like
horror, but also like a
it's
suspense or
it's not
thriller.
possible for one person to get to the president of the United States. It's just
Again,
not
it could just be a
possible.
conversation that's not like it could be a conversation they've had or just the thoughts. It doesn't have to be actually something that actually happened. I mean, a lot of, I've heard it a lot that the movies these days are unrealistic. So
Hmm,
I,
hmm.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
more of it's entertainment. It's not real. It's on a screen. So
Hmm,
yeah,
hmm.
I'll go ahead and start with the review. So the studio that put this out is MGM, Metro Godwin Mayer. The MGM Studios are movie filmed by. I liked it. I thought it was good. From beginning to end, just like I think I said that for another movie review that we had done last year already. It was just nonstop action. It was entertaining. Like Eddie said, the story is good.
Hmm.
I'd probably give it a rating of an 8.5 overall. So how about you, Eddie?
Okay. I have to like say again, good story, good action throughout. So I'll divide it in thirds. First third, really good. Second third, really good. Last third, no good. So I'll give it a 7.
Okay, like a beginning, a
All right.
middle, of and an end, right? You like, yeah.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Yes. So anyway, that's it
Uh-huh.
for today for this review of The Beekeeper. Stay tuned for more reviews of movies, and please make sure to check out both of our YouTube channels and our movies. They're in
And
YouTube. You can see Attraction Man, which is a great, I have to say, it is a
a
great
superhero action film.
superhero action film, short film, right?
Now
That
that's
has won.
entertaining. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's entertaining for sure. So go ahead and check it out. All right. It'll be out to the next one.
Like and subscribe. Thanks again for tuning in.
Absolutely. Bye bye.